Welcome to Deluxe. We take a look at timeless classics, the world's most luxurious brands and beautiful people who stand the test of time. From Cartier diamonds to Audrey Hepburn, from James Bond to fast and classy cars, we explore ageless elegance. The Prince of Wales once famously called French jewellery house Cartier jewellers to kings, king of jewellers. And there is no better symbol of timeless luxury than a diamond by Cartier. Louis-François Cartier took over an existing jewellery workshop in Paris in 1847. But it was his gifted grandsons Louis, Pierre and Jacques who established the worldwide brand of Cartier. Innovations with various styles including Art Deco, Garland and Tutti Frutti has made Cartier's influence on the development of 20th century jewellery unparalleled. Louis Cartier is best known for his timepieces. He designed the first wristwatch to assist an aviator friend. And an example of his famous mystery clocks was recently on display in Moscow. Cartier can claim all the most important innovations and achievements which belong to the jewellery art of the 20th century. Many of the watches, tiaras and necklaces on display are from private collections. Among the treasures are crocodile and snake necklaces, specially ordered by the Mexican actress Maria Felix.
She came to the 13 Rue de la Paix boutique with a box, and in there were two living small crocodiles. And she asked for the director of the boutique, and she said, "Okay, this is what I want in jewelry very quickly. Could you please make those two crocodiles for me as a necklace?"
The centrepiece of the exhibition can be seen here more closely in a jewellery store in Paris. We are presenting today this necklace created by Cartier in 1926 that we created for the Maharaja of Patiala. That is an exceptional necklace since it is a parure for men, very imposing and sizable. It is probably one of the biggest jewellery necklaces that has ever been made. Many of the original 2,900 diamonds were missing when the necklace was found in 1998, and Cartier plans a full restoration. Modern diamonds were on display in Los Angeles recently when Cartier launched its annual Love Day celebration with a love charity bracelet designed by 9 chosen ambassadors. 10% of sales go to the partnered organisations, and actor Hilary Duff chose a charity that helps meet the nutritional needs of children.
My bracelet is a deep plum color, and my charity is called Blessings in a Backpack. And it's nice to be involved.
Once the wartime rationing was lifted from Europe after the ravages of the Second World War, fashion houses bloomed into an age of elegance and opulence. This exhibition at London's Victoria and Albert Museum features over 100 gowns by Christian Dior, Christobel Balenciaga and Worth London, as well as many others. The exhibition concentrates on the so-called Golden Age of Couture between 1947 and 1957, when the combination of unrestrained style and craftsmanship turned these couturiers into world-famous names.
I think the secret of Dior's success in the post-war period was that he was very familiar with the fashion industry. He'd worked for other major fashion houses before, Piaget and Lelong. So when he launched his new house in 1947, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was also very aware that everybody was fed up with wartime fashions, and so he created what Carmel Snow nicknamed the New Look. And this was a tremendously romantic look that appealed to women all over the world.
There are several pieces on display by London-based couturiers such as Norman Hartnell and Hardy Amies.
What was very interesting about London couture in the 1950s, as opposed to Parisian couture, was that the London designers focused on practical, wearable designs. tailoring was a great speciality. In fact, the tailors were so skilled in London that the Parisians sent their tailors over to see how it was done.
60 years after the launch of Dior's new look couture house, the market for haute couture is certainly much smaller. Still today, designers including British couturier John Galliano for Christian Dior continue to produce exquisitely detailed pieces, keeping the traditional skills of the couturier alive for a more modern clientele. Perhaps no one personifies elegance and timeless beauty more than the film star Audrey Hepburn. Born to an English father and a Dutch mother who was a former baroness, Hepburn has won Academy, Grammy, Emmy and Tony Awards for her stage and screen work. She also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her charity work. Hepburn is often considered to be one of the most beautiful women of all time. In the 1950s, she was not only one of the biggest film stars, but her elfin appearance and sense of chic was very influential in fashion at the time. Recently, the dress that Hepburn wore in one of her most famous roles as Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's came up for auction. Hepburn said she found playing the eccentric Manhattan socialite hard, as she was an introvert and Holly Golightly an extrovert. The distinctive black dress perfectly suited the gammon figure of Hepburn and became a silhouette much admired and copied.
It was made for her by Hubert de Givenchy. It's one of 3 known to still exist, and we're very, very, very lucky to have it. And it's being sold for charity, which is the City of Joy Aid, which helps orphans and the homeless in India.
Hepburn died in 1993, but through the purchase of this special dress, admirers can buy a tiny piece of a legend. Coming up, timeless luxury on the runway in haute couture classics. Coco Chanel and Christian Dior are towering figures of 20th century fashion, and the timeless luxury that they created influenced all modern designers. One of the most glamorous women of her time, Chanel was born in a poorhouse. She opened her first shop in Paris in 1913 and became so influential, she was named in Time magazine's 100 most influential people of the 20th century. German designer Karl Lagerfeld has designed for Chanel since 1983, and his designs continue the pursuit of expensive simplicity that Coco began decades earlier. At his most recent show, Lagerfeld outlined his particular attitude to the design of luxury. Chanel tweed is all hand-woven on small looms and it's very, very expensive. But I like the idea to treat something that expensive like something inexpensive, like jeans, because I never use the word cheap, and to have an attitude with luxury as if luxury was not expensive. Lagerfeld's latest project has been to commission 20 leading contemporary artists to create works of art based on Chanel's iconic quilted handbag. The mobile art exhibition will tour for 2 years. Recently, Chanel Diamonds took centre stage in the Plaza Hotel in New York City, where celebrities, socialites and models gathered to celebrate the US debut of 20 one-of-a-kind diamond pieces from the Chanel archives. The black and white gala was held in homage to Chanel's signature colours, and Truman Capote's legendary black and white ball held in the same location in 1966. Christian Dior began a revolution in dress called the New Look, with luxurious arrangements of fabric that broke with the lean and boxy designs of post-World War II. Under family pressure to pursue a diplomatic career, Dior originally studied science, but he was always drawn to the arts and to fashion. As a student, he sold sketches on the streets of Paris to raise money. The timeless qualities of his beautiful designs were recently celebrated in an exhibition at Berlin's Culture Forum. 180 exhibits showcased the life work of Dior, who died tragically at age 52. Included in the exhibit was the famous black swan dress which German diva Marlene Dietrich once wore. Christian Dior was one of the early fashion designers who understood how to implement the total look, fashion as a whole. This means that he not only incorporated clothes into his haute couture for his collection, he also designed accessories and intensively dealt with fashion jewellery. John Galliano is the current head of design at Christian Dior. Born in Gibraltar and raised in London, Galliano has been at the Paris fashion house since 1996, and his theatricality and love of seduction has been famously successful for Dior. Here, his haute couture Paris show is faultless in its invocation of beauty, luxury and elegance. The reason why Christian Dior has so much success with Galliano after 10 years is because Galliano brings to the House of Dior his creativity, his modernity, and he respects the heritage of Mr. Dior. A master of haute couture, Giorgio Armani follows in the footsteps of Chanel, with his timeless tailored designs redefining what is feminine and what is masculine. Italian-born Armani began as a designer in well-known fashion house Nino Cerruti Jimenez, before beginning his own label in 1974. In 1975, he introduced women's wear, and his simple, clean lines became instant classics, making him the richest and most successful Italian designer ever.
Very, very elegant. His style doesn't shriek, it whispers. And I think when people are wearing his clothes, the clothes don't wear them. They feel very elegant, they always feel perfectly dressed for any occasion, and I think they feel comfortable.
At a retrospective in the Royal Academy of Arts in London, the timeless quality of Armani's designs is more than apparent.
If you bought sort of a navy or a beige or a black Armani trouser suit, you'd probably still be wearing it in 10 or 15 years. I mean, you may change the t-shirt or whatever you put underneath it, but essentially the trouser suit or the skirt suit would really last almost a lifetime.
In 2003, Armani was honoured in Beverly Hills with the inaugural Rodeo Drive Walk of Style Award, a fitting tribute to a man who has shaped public taste. A who's who of Hollywood celebrities walked the red carpet to celebrate a man who has changed the way the world dresses.
Well, I think he's sort of been the arbiter of taste for the last at least 25 years. He's managed to transform a lot of women who didn't know what the hell to wear into a lot of women who look great.
Sophia Loren, who is rarely seen in public, made an exception for Armani, who is a close friend.
Giorgio Armani is unique.
After his huge success with the film American Gigolo, where he dressed the sex symbol Richard Gere, Armani became the preferred courtier for a long list of Hollywood stars. These include Jodie Foster, Michelle Pfeiffer, Julia Roberts, Robert De Niro, George Clooney, and Samuel L. Jackson, who remembers his first Armani purchase.
I actually bought a sweater, and it was one of those feelings of success for me, you know, because I've been going by the store and kind of looking at stuff, and one day I finally was able to just walk in there and buy this sweater that I'd coveted for a while. And, you know, it was a feeling of having made it, you know, that I didn't feel bad about buying it, and I was overjoyed that I could afford it. And once I got home and put it on, you know, it was kind of like dancing around in the mirror, looking at myself in it and feeling, yes, I own Armani.
Recently, Armani brought his uber chic to Japan, where he opened a high-rise flagship store in Tokyo. Armani's understated elegance and palette of blacks and beiges is expected to fit extremely well with typically restrained Japanese taste. The Hollywood stars that I think look cool usually are wearing Armani. So for me, it's a way to boost my self-image. Coming up, the man and the cars that exemplifies timeless luxury. If ever a man and brand defines timeless classics, it's James Bond. Some of the world's most handsome and charismatic men have played 007. the British agent who breaks all the rules, but always gets the villain. James Bond is known for his taste in fast cars, beautiful women, and dry martinis. Over 20 films have been made about his adventures, films that have earned an approximate $11 billion worldwide. Recently, Sean Connery, considered by many to be the definitive Bond, received the 34th American Film Institute Life Achievement Award in honour of his acting work. Connery starred in 7 Bond films, but originally Ian Fleming, the creator of the James Bond series, was unwilling to cast Connery, considering him too unrefined. A female friend of Fleming's begged to differ, persuading him that Connery had that something special, and the rest is history. Fellow actors and stars lined up to pay tribute to the actor who defined Bond cool.
He's my father, my mentor, my inspiration. Great man, wonderful occasion. I'm delighted to be here to honor him.
And Sean Connery was filming in Vegas and he came to see my show. So you knock